Titanic, some lady came up and she's looking at my table and she goes, "These are neat. Is this something you saw on the internet and like decided to do?" I said, with a straight face, I said, "Don't insult me.
Oh my God.
Would you believe actually this is like my idea?" Well, I don't know. Yeah.
So how long have you been assembling things?
30 years. I saw the Army man at the flea market for $2, and immediately I knew what I was going to do. I was going to cut the bombs out of his hand and get little bottles of beer at the hobby store and make a plaque that said "Get bombed," and there it is. But the hardest part was getting the explosion right, like "Get bombed." I have a degree in art.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where did you study?
It's called Rowan College.
Okay.
Now, South Jersey. It was Glasper State Teachers College.
Okay.
I originally was going to be a teacher, and I realized I didn't want to do that.
So did you study sculpture mostly, or?
No. I did really well in school, but I think my first real assemblage was something I made in college. It was an old gas pump. I have a photograph of it. It was called Ethel's Dream, and it was, that was neat. And I had no place to put it, so I just left it there. And I went to the dump eventually. And this is the women's empowerment piece.
That's cool.
I didn't really start doing these in earnest till about 1980. I was traveling around doing construction work, staying in motels, and I'd kind of borrow things from the motels when I left, little signs and whatnot. And the first one I made was a little one. My sister has it now. No, a friend of mine has it. And it was all little things from motel rooms, and it was called Motel Life.
Okay.
That's the first one that I did.
Uh-huh.
And then I was working in North Carolina, out in the country on the Turnpike on Route 95, and then it was rural, and every crossroad had a little country store. It doesn't matter where you're working, you can run to a country store and buy sodas and junk for lunch. And I was always, when the guy would look, I'd pry the chrome nameplate off of his soda cooler, like Bevco, and I was always stealing things like that. And then I made one. That was the second one I made. Was all stuff, chrome names. And I started actually going to junkyards, and the old-fashioned junkyard, like dumps, when there used to be dumps, and it would be stoves, and they'd have the chrome names. It's really cool, old chrome names from the 40s and 50s. Hot Point and Cold Spot and all that kind of tractor grill. And that started me off of that. And then that weird welder's helmet. I love old welder's helmets from the 50s. They're real Flash Gordon looking, retro, sci-fi.
Yeah.
I have another one. It's even weirder. It's got the leather. They all have the leather thing in the front. Death Ray. Retrobot.
The tape obviously comes off.
Yeah, just do it without the tape. Put the tape
But most have a sort of narrative or a kind of story.
Yeah, they're about something. And this guy's getting his head crushed, but he's smiling, and it's got like a clown on him. This is more just a fun. That's somewhere between fine art and just decorative, but I like it enough to put it in the fine art part. These are tennis racket things when you used to the wooden tennis rackets.
Oh.
You used to clamp your tennis racket so it wouldn't
right.
walk. That's what these are. And I put them together and made an hourglass of junk, like all the junk you use in your life, you go through and collect.
The junk drawer contents revealed.
Exactly. Look at the old couple in the portrait. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
A gun. Yeah, this was hard to make.
Was it?
Yeah, cutting all the pieces of plexiglass.
Oh.
And putting it all together. But I stayed with it, and I still have it.
It's really cool. Does it have a name?
Flotsam Hourglass.
That's great.
flotsam.
pieces reimagined as something else, familiar shapes and elements that, become something else, something that, something new. I think that does kind of turn your brain on.
Well, all the junk you need in your life, and you can't do without it really. But then after a point, it is junk. And then, like, I go to a junkyard and I can only take so much. Like, I start see an old tricycle, and you can imagine, like, Dad bringing home, or seeing it Christmas morning,
Yeah.
Or I see an old 55 Ford all rusted out, and I think of some guy, like, getting out, combing his hair, and you know what I mean, with his T-shirt rolled up at the sleeves, and when the car was new, and it's just, I get nostalgic. And then it starts to depress me, and then that's time to go.